5 mental hindrances. Pancha Nivarana. Pancha means 5. Nivarana, hindrances. Mental hindrances. Amongst all the other mental hindrances, these 5 can create a lot of problems, worries, disturbances, and interrupt our spiritual development. That is why in Buddhism, the Buddha always mentioned these 5 as major mental hindrances. The Pali words for them are Kamachanda, Vyapada, Thina Midda, Uddhacha, Kukucha, Vichikicha. Last Friday we have discussed Kama Chanda, sensual pleasure. How our sensual pleasure hinders our peace of mind, our progress, and our spiritual development. I think you have heard the world where we live, Manushya Loka, is called Kama Loka, sensual world. Animals, human beings, and devas also belong to this group. They indulge their senses. Not only they indulge, they are crazy for indulging, entertaining their senses. But other living beings are not like this. And they have less problems. We have so many problems because of this. For gaining our pleasure, we make enormous mistake. We disturb others or we destroy others. We can tell any amount of lie to bluff others, either to gain something or to avoid something because of this pleasure. But this is the nature of this world where we live. But it is not an excuse for us to say, oh, this is the nature of the world. We must be wise. We must know how to avoid, how to keep away. And our problems, when the problems and troubles and disturbances come, then we remember. But if we know how to control, maintain, discipline our senses, we can avoid many of those problems that we are facing and we are worrying. So the next item tonight is Vyapada. This is, amongst these 5, this one is more stronger, or more powerful, more energetic. Biggest mental hindrance, Vyapada. There are 3 words we always use: anger, hatred, ill will, grudge, 4 words are there. But they have different degrees, different mental attitude toward this particular mental attitude. Anger is emotional. Anger arises without selfishness, without craving, without anxieties. When our human emotion is aroused, even then, if anger arises, we cannot say mind is completely free from certain mental defilements or impurities. Parents get angry with their children. They scold, they beat them with anger. But when we analyze the nature or the intention or the purpose of this anger, we can understand their idea is to train them properly, to behave as cultured or religious or harmless or honest or sincere human beings. So the motive is good. At that time they use the emotional expression to influence them. It is anger. But very difficult to say whether we create any bad karma by creating such anger in our mind, because we have no evil thoughts. After scolding and after beating, next moment we go and pat them or apply some liniments or ointments. That means no hatred, no ill will. Then the next one is hatred and ill will. Ill will is very dangerous. Evil forces are there in our mind to create ill will. Cruelty is there. And no sympathy, no kindness at that time in that person's mind when ill will or hatred prevails. The mind is clouded completely. Last Friday I told you how our mind is affected in various ways when there are certain mental hindrances. At that time we cannot use sense of reasoning. We lose it. At that time we are not ready to listen to others, elders who know better than us. At that time we have no courage to control our mental energy, our words and physical action. We can do anything, any nasty or wicked thing under the influence of hatred or ill will. Not only that, we keep this in our mind sometimes throughout our life. If not for a long period, as grudge. And we are also thinking to take revenge. That is the danger. Anger just arise, shout or fight and forget. It's like this. When small children go out and play, you can see suddenly they shout at each other, they fight, they beat, they cry, they complain. Next moment they forget everything, again come and play. That is the nature of anger. Again you can see small puppies and kittens always sleep together, eat together, play. But suddenly when they get angry, you can see how they attack each other and bite. Within few minutes, again they get together and play. They have forgotten. But in our human mind, when that anger or ill will or hatred appeared, we never forgive it, we never forget it. Keep this in our mind. And we hate that person who disturbs us. When we come to know that he is in trouble, oh, we feel very happy. See how dangerous is our mental attitude. When we come to know that he died, we feel very happy. That is why the Buddha pointed out, this anger, it is not anger actually, it is hatred or grudge, ill will, that we maintain or keep in our mind. We harm ourselves, we disturb ourselves, we ruin ourselves. Not only we disturb others, by radiating our hatred or cursing or accusing, we disturb others. But we never think, by keeping this hatred in our mind, we ruin our own mind and physical body. Example, when we pour acid into a vessel, a metal one, keep for some times, you can see how this acid eat the metal there in that vessel. Or you can see holes also leaking. Exactly like this. When we keep this hatred or ill will or grudge in our mind, that hatred is going on damaging our mind as well as all the organs and glands and hearts and so many tender part of the organs in the body. Later, sicknesses. Any other mental hindrance that we discussed here is not that bad. This is the most dangerous, most wicked, harmful mental hindrance which disturbs our own mind as well as disturb others. And this hatred can destroy the whole world. Now what is happening in this world today? Human mind created the most dangerous in our human history. Chaotic situation in this world. Everybody is thinking what to do. But all these things come out from the human mind. There is nobody behind them to force them. If the mind is not trained or disciplined properly, that untrained, uncultured mind can harbor and develop this hatred to take revenge and to destroy others without any mercy. They forget their humane qualities, but develop their inhuman attitude. Even animals also never behave like this. So these human beings are the most dangerous and wicked human beings who endanger the whole world. In the end, what do they gain? The way how they have discovered modern weapons to destroy world or the life. Nuclear weapons, chemical or biological, to destroy. But those days, few hundred years ago, or few thousand years ago, people had war. They used only weapons. There were no guns also at that time. Today, the situation is very, very uncertain. So all these things discovered, created, produced, used by a human being. At the same time, they also pray and worship. That I cannot understand. If there is no mercy in their mind, according to their respective religion, no kindness and compassion towards other living beings, simply by worshipping, I cannot understand what they gain. What sort of religious mind they have cultivated in their mind. I think their idea is by worshipping that they gain more support from the external agencies, supernatural power. This is the situation. So this hatred or ill will or grudge is boiling in their mind. They can do anything in every possible way to destroy human life. So according to this modern weapon, after fighting and killing and destroying, and there won't be anybody either to win the war or to defeat. The Buddha has mentioned this earlier. Beautiful sayings in Dhammapada. Upasanto sukhang seti hitva jaya parajaya. When there is a battle between two groups, assume one group wins the battle, the other group is defeated. But we should not think those who have won the battle have the victory. They have created enemies. And they are also in fear. Whenever chances arise, those who are defeated again take revenge and attack them. So there is no victory. And that is why the Buddha says, only person who wins the battle is one who is free from victory and defeat. Nothing to worry. Nobody to disturb them. Again he says, Susukhang vata jivana verinesu averino. Verinesu manussesu viharana averino. When we analyze the teachings of the Buddha by observing or analyzing the world situation today or the human mentality, we can understand why the Buddha has said like this. What is this? Let us live happily and peacefully amongst those who hate and fight without joining with them, without encouraging them, without contributing anything for them. We can live peacefully and happily. If they are not ready to listen to our advice, if they are not ready to listen to the great religious teachers, if they want to fight and destroy others, what we have to do, without encouraging them, without joining with them, let us live happily. Of course, it is not so easy. Somehow or the other, we become biased. This is our mentality. Now when you watch wrestling, now two persons are fighting. Naturally, our mind go to one of them to encourage, support, not to the other one. But we do not know who they are. And this is the nature of human mind. Very difficult for us to maintain unbiased mental attitude. For nothing we contribute something, either to this person or that person. So the Buddha's advice is, be unbiased. Don't join either with this group or that group. Then you are the one who will win the battle. And you are the one who can sleep peacefully. Because you have no worries in your mind. So, just now I mentioned, our anger is the most dangerous, wicked and cruel mental attitude. Any cultured man or religious man, well-educated man, can become a very nasty person under the influence of hatred or ill will or anger. And this mental attitude we maintain until we attain the third stage of sainthood. It is very strong. But if we act wisely, we know how to deal with this without allowing this hatred or anger to misuse or to abuse our human dignity. Otherwise, it is not so easy for us to wipe out or to get rid of our anger. So we maintain this up to the third stage. Now, Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanta. These are the 4 stages for us to attain for our final salvation. At the first stage, Sotapanna, we reduce only 3 mental hindrances. They are not belong to this group. Then the second stage, we reduce. This anger is there, hatred is there in that second stage. It is so strong, even at the second stage of sainthood we cannot get rid of this. But we can control. So when we attain the third stage, completely eradicated, no more. Anger is no more, no ground for that mind to create anger. That means there is not enough ingredients in that mind to create anger. It is not that they have controlled their anger. Now, Arahantas and those who attain third stage of sainthood, no more. So here we can understand how strong, at the same time how dangerous. We can learn Buddhism or religion. We can practice religion. We can perform various religious activities are still, these evil forces are there in the mind. So occasionally they mislead us, misguide us, then we abuse our way of life. Then we create enormous mistake. One word that we uttered because of our anger can create enmity in another person's mind, which lasts throughout the life. Keep as a grudge, because so and so said like this. One word, because of that anger. If not, one word is enough for another person to come and kill you on the spot. That can hurt others' feeling very badly. Again, we can behave in such a way, although we are educated, although we have learned religion or teachings, we feel that we cannot control ourselves. Then can do any nasty things, any cruel or any wicked things. So by knowing this situation, religious teachers, not only Buddhism, when you study all the existing religions, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, every religion taught ill of this. So now what we want to know is, we know that we cannot wipe out or we cannot stop our anger or our hatred. Again, we try to control our anger or hatred by force, suppressing. So according to modern psychology, that attitude is not very healthy. That means when anger arouses, by force we control it, but we shiver, face become red, but we don't want to utter even one word, we don't want to do anything, we control our anger. Anger is boiling in our mind and disturbs the body also, physically. So that is not the Buddhist method. So we cannot control our anger in that way. That anger can create more harm. Although we keep quiet, as if that we are not angry. So the Buddhist attitude is through understanding, by knowing the danger of this mental attitude, at that time when anger arises, we create another mental attitude to calm, to discipline, or to divert our mind towards something else. So it is not suppressing by force. Then the tension and the mental attitude reduce. Then the physical body also get the chance to relax. Otherwise this anger disturbs our body. Training and discipline our mind is to handle our mind when it goes out of order. So we have to do this earlier. If we are not used to do this, when you are angry, when you are under the influence of this hatred or ill will, nobody in this world who can control you. And you also do not know how to control your own mind. Because no sense of reasoning. Here certain advices given in our religion what to do or how to discipline our mind, how to stop that nasty mental attitude without harming anybody, how to cultivate our mind by adopting certain method when we are angry. Here a few items. Loving kindness should be developed toward the person with whom resentment arise. So if we have not done this earlier, at that moment you cannot do anything. That is why the metta bhavana, loving kindness or compassion, you have to train your mind to concentrate. When you go on concentrating and concentrating and training and developing when you are normal, when you are angry you cannot do that, remember. Don't try to meditate at that time. You cannot do that. You have to do this when you are normal. Because you can understand, you know how to appreciate what you are going to do. So when you go on training, developing your mind by cultivating metta or loving kindness or sympathy or understanding in your mind, then the intrinsic or the natural anger when arise, since you have trained your mind earlier, you get the courage to control the mind by applying one of these things, either your compassion, your loving kindness, your metta, your understanding, your sympathy. But not by force. This is true understanding. This is practical. But you cannot do this suddenly at once if you have not done this earlier. When you are free, especially at night time when you go to bed, or early morning when you get up, or spend 5 minutes by training and radiating. You are cultivating discipline in your mind. Then you will be able to train the mind, control the mind when your mind is disturbed by the anger. The second advice is equanimity should be developed towards the person with whom resentment arises. What is this equanimity? When anger arises, we create discrimination, hostility, or differences. Again we bring forward race, color, religion, so many differences, then aggravate the situation. Now if your enemy is not belong to the same race, if he is belong to another race, then you start to talk nonsense against that person, because he is not belong to your race, your nationality. If that person is not belong to your religion, again you bring religious issues. If that person is a dark person, then you bring that also into the picture. Oh, he is dark colors are like this. You create this discrimination because of that. But you never think all are human beings. So equanimity, if you can control all these discrimination, differences, then easily you can control your anger. After all, we are all human beings. We have same feeling. And why should we harbor hatred towards another person by maintaining some sort of superiority complex? So equanimity is another method for us to reduce the anger or the hatred which appear in our mind. The Buddha is giving this advice because he has practiced earlier and experienced the good results. Next one, forgetting and ignoring of a person with whom resentment arises. This is my attitude. So whenever I come to know that somebody is angry with me, what I do, I never create hatred, anger, ill will or anything. I don't want to talk about him. And no ill feeling towards him. We do our work. When others talk against that person, I never join with them to support. although he is my enemy. But you cannot do this. Remember, this is very practical. Keep quiet. Later, you can see the good result. Whatever you have learned so far in the Buddha's teaching, by polluting my own mind just because of another person, I create bad karma. I am not exempted. When I come to know that somebody hates me, accuse me, then I also develop the same mental attitude toward that person. By doing that, I create bad karma. Because I pollute my own mind because of the other person. You cannot say, I hate him just because he hates me. By considering in this way, act wisely, without creating such hatred or ill will or grudge, evil thoughts, developing your enmity or planning to take revenge. Every second, every minute, when you create such ideas in your mind, please remember, you create bad karma. Then, another method. So you come to know that someone has done something to disturb you, or hurt you, to accuse you, or to damage you. Then you create your enmity. Start to accuse him. Develop your anger towards that person. Every time when you talk about that person, you always talk ill of him. Never tell anything good in that person. To you, he is entirely wrong person. You are wrong. If you think unbiasedly, you can understand there are so many good things in that man whom you regard as your enemy. Just because he is your enemy, he thinks he is a bad man. But many others can see so many good things in him. When you are normal, when that anger is no more in your mind, then you also can see some good things in him. This is another method that I always practice. I compare the good qualities and the bad qualities in that person. Then I can understand there are more good qualities, more virtues, although he had some weaknesses. Or he has done so much good, or good thing for me also. How can I become ungrateful? How can I become enemy at once, just because he had some weaknesses? How nice if we can analyze our problems in this way. Therefore, we must never condemn a person thinking that he is bad man. Yes, there are certain bad habits, weaknesses. At the same time, there are good things also in that person. I have repeated this so many times, I cannot remember whether still you can remember. It's a beautiful saying in Sanskrit language. The nature of human beings in this world. Dosopyasti gunopyasti nirdoso naiva jayate. Sukhumalasya padmasya nalo bhavati karkasa. Remember the meaning. It's very important. The meaning is, we cannot find a single human being in this world who is completely perfect or completely bad. According to our way of thinking. Now let us take the Buddhas and Arahantas and Pacceka Buddhas. In the eyes of so many people, they are very bad people. In the eyes of certain religious people, they are devils. The Buddha is a devil. Here you can understand how they look at it. Although they are good by nature. But here we are talking about normal human beings. You cannot find a single man or woman who is completely perfect or completely bad. There are good qualities as well as weaknesses or bad qualities. Example, Sukhumalasya padmasya. Padma is a lotus flower. Lotus flower is very tender, very lovely. Everybody in this world loves lotus flower. Nothing wrong with this lotus flower. But nalo bhavati karkasa, the stalk, the stick which holds this lotus flower is very rough, very thorny, not smooth. Human beings are like this, like that lotus flower. Flower is tender and fragrant and lovely, but the stalk is very rough and thorny, can hurt us. Therefore we must understand this. How to appreciate the good things in a person when he is wrong. Confucius, I think Confucius has said, in everything in this world there is some sort of beauty. In everything that it exists. But very few people can see that beauty. Therefore, to some people certain things are completely bad, no beauty at all. But there is. You must analyze in this way. So, if you consider your enemy who hate you, who disturb you in this way, you can reduce your tension, your temperature, your anger, your stress. Next one. Talk to that person, if possible, if you have courage, gently, without showing your sour face. Can you do this? From that day onward, that hatred, that anger, that ill will everything drop. Because of your egoism, you have a very strong egoistic mental attitude. You have no courage to go and talk to your enemy gently and politely. Within 1 or 2 words we can settle very big problems. Withdraw, hatred, anger, enmity, everything. Sometimes can develop more friendship from that day onward. So simple, yet very difficult for you to do because of your egoism. You don't like to look at that person's face. You hate. But this is practical. This is the method. The Buddhistic attitude. When you study certain stories, what happened during the Buddha's time, this is the method adapted by them to overcome their problems and enmity and violence and bloodshed can avoid. Which is more important? Your egoism or your life or your reputation? You can throw away your egoism, become humble, then you can stop violence and bloodshed and enmity and problems. Next one. You have to think wisely as an understanding person. Just because of that man or that woman, every day I am going on polluting and polluting and polluting and disturbing my own mind. I have to suffer more because of this mental attitude. I am not happy because of that person. But this is not a big problem that we cannot settle. As I mentioned just now, within 1 or 2 words we can stop this. Then you also can maintain healthy mind, peaceful mind, without polluting your own mind. If you continue this, go on polluting your own mind, harboring your anger, in the end, who is going to suffer? You have to suffer more, physically and mentally, after adopting all these attitudes. If you think that you cannot overcome, you cannot get rid of this problem, you cannot see the end of this problem, the Buddha's final advice is this. Note labet nipakang sahayang sadhing charang sadhu vihardi eko chare sabda visanakam. Final advice. There are some stubborn or stupid, very cruel people who are not ready to compromise under any circumstance. Although we have more than enough reason to compromise, to stop this, but their mental attitude is such, they are willing to create violence and bloodshed, disturbances, but don't like to compromise. Then the final advice given by the Buddha is eko chare gavisanasam. Don't don't associate with that person. Don't go and see that person. Don't think of him. Completely ignore and forget. And don't think that there is a person like this. Then you slowly forget. This is the final method. When there are some difficulties, problems, for you to associate with some people, some are very narrow-minded, some are very hot-tempered, some are very jealous, very difficult to associate and work with them. The more you associate, the more you have to face problems. Here the advice given by the Buddha. Without creating enmity or jealousy or anger or anything, just forget it. Keep away from that person. Then you can maintain healthy mind. Don't think of him. Because if you think of him, again anger arises. So all these methods are very practical. If you really want to follow the advice given by the Buddha, these are the methods, remedy. Because this is a very big problem that we are facing in our day-to-day life. Although we are trying to be good, try to do some service to others without any discrimination or without any ulterior motive, enemies naturally appear. This is the nature of the world. World means human mind. Those who do not know how to think deeply get fed up. I have not done any harm to anybody. I try to do something by devoting my life, even without expecting anything in return. Even then, I get brickbats, bad names, accusation, criticism. Then why should I continue all this work? They are not understanding. For that, also I have given simple parable. I cannot remember whether you maintain all these things, because I am going on repeating and repeating and repeating. A very good driver who tried to drive his motor car to avoid accident. He drives his motor car very mindfully, very gently, to avoid accident. So when he is driving his motor car in that way, another reckless driver come and bang. Then he thinks, what is the big idea of driving gently and mindfully to avoid peacefully? In future, I am also going to die like this. If you change your mental attitude, exactly you also become like that driver. So you have to act wisely. Because all are not good people, all are not understanding people in this world. Some create misunderstanding, some are jealous, some cannot tolerate the good thing that we are doing. But if we are wise, go ahead with our work, let them say anything whatever they like. If we know we are right, nothing to worry. Yes, any questions? Few minutes. Keep quiet. Because United Nations, the whole world, appeal, approach, discuss. So no one could settle, and he said no compromise. then what are you going to do? Keep quiet. That is what the Buddha says. Let us sleep peacefully without thinking that fellow. If you think of him, then you disturb your own mind. You also develop hatred towards him. Such stubborn people, you know, Devadatta, the Buddha's disciple, cousin brother, he tried his level best to train, discipline this monk, this disciple. He is so stubborn. He never listened to him. In the end, he tried to kill the Buddha. When the Buddha was about to pass away, Ananda asked this question. Now what are we going to do with this fellow? Because he is still living, Devadatta. He disturbed all the other disciples also. Now Buddha also going to die. Ask his final advice. This is the occasion where the Buddha says, completely boycott him. Advise all the other monks. No talk. Cannot invite him for anything. But don't develop anger or anything. Just adopt this mental attitude. So the Buddha passed away. All the other disciples completely stopped. Not Devadatta actually, this is another disciple. Devadatta had his own disciples, own followers, and he died before the Buddha when he wanted to come and see the Buddha. And unfortunately he had no chance. Near the gate of the Jetavana monastery, he died. He was a very wicked. This is another stubborn monk. Very, very stubborn monk. So this monk felt it. Nobody wanted to talk to him. Nobody invited him for anything. After a few days' time, he started to think, why it is like this? Then he thought that there must be something wrong with me. Then he had the chance to discipline his own mind. That is why the Buddha has given this advice. It is the only method to train him, this person. So, if you don't like a person, without creating enmity or anger or jealousy or ill will or anything, just keep quiet. If you want to talk to this person, also create more misunderstanding and create imagination. And some others also may pass remarks. To avoid all these things, you do your work, just forget that person. So this advice also given by the Buddha.
Was a warrior, and today the Arabic nations are fighting each other. Can this be explained by the law of karma?
I don't think it is. They are creating new karmas by behaving in this way, not due to their past karmas. You understand? People create lot of wicked things, bad things, according to their mental attitudes. Because they have not trained their mind to use their mind properly. Then they create more and more bad karmas. The previous karmas we experience for good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant, physically and mentally, some disturbances and what you call weaknesses, not in this way. Yes, it is not like a curse. Some others take this as a curse. We don't take this as a curse. But when you study religious history, every existing religion in this world, how they started, why they started, how they introduce, you can see very clearly. It's a blood shed from the very beginning. Without blood, they could not introduce their only religion. Even Hinduism, when you study, you can see a lot of bloodshed. Indian history. Hinduism also encourages war. In Bhagavad Gita, you can say, Tasmat Yudhyasya Bharata. Go forth and fight to protect their country. But to them, that is religion. Buddhism is the only religion never talk anything about encouraging people to shed blood. No violence, no bloodshed under any circumstance. We maintain this more than 2,500 years. That is why people respect this religion as a gentle religion. To introduce this religion, no bloodshed, even animals. Many others slaughter animals to offer to their God. In Buddhism, you cannot find even that also. No bloodshed, even animal bloods also, because of Buddhism. Again, the nature of human race, human civilizations, culture, way of life, they go on building and building and building and developing and developing and developing. After some time, they go mad, like this. They start to attack and condemn and slaughter and burn and destroy, completely collapse. Anthropologists have discovered cultured human beings existed on this earth even millions of years ago, not only 5,000 years ago, millions of years ago. And certain things that they have discovered in Afghanistan, what do you call that? Harappa and Mohenjo-daro or something like that. What is the name? At that time they say 25,000 years ago. What sort of building they have erected? What sort of culture, civilization they have? When you read Chakravarti Sihanada Sutra, the Buddha's prediction about the human life, go on developing and developing and developing. Material development up to the maximum level. When they develop in that way, by neglecting a spiritual development. So the material development going higher and higher and higher, the spiritual development going down and down and down and down. That is the very reason why human beings behave in this world today. The more they discover, modern scientific discoveries used for destructive purpose, to destroy everything. No spiritual development, no kindness, no compassion, no honesty, no sincerity, no patience, no tolerance in their mind. All drop. But develop all the other things up to the maximum level. Then cut each other's throat and collapse everything. Not only life, their civilization, their building, what they have erected. Now today they say within 20 minutes, if they want, they can turn the whole world into ashes. 20 minutes. That is the development. Because they have not cultured their mind. Religion also they use only to worship, asking to support the God, to fight. That's all. What is the use of religion in that way? The Buddha concentrated only human mind to cultivate, to develop, to train, to purify the mind. Without doing this, whatever we do in the name of religion or the development become a failure. We have to face that. When you study the teachings of every religion, you can see beautiful teachings. Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, or any other Ism. All the good qualities are there, but do they practice? They misuse, abuse. So man is responsible for it.
Akasatta Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditta Chirang Rakkantu Loka Sasanang Ittavata Chamehi Sambatang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Devo Vasatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Tucepito Bhavatu Loko Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Idango Nyati Nang Hotu Sakita Huntu Nyatayo Imina Punya Kammena Mami Bala Samagamo Satang Samagamo Tu Yao Nibbana Pattiya